Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're located in the world. This is CEO Dojo, Master Richard E. Gordon, coming to you on this webinar about leadership. Lots have been written about leadership since the beginning of time. There's been examples of leadership, good leadership, bad leadership, lots of principles, concepts, and styles of leadership. So I'm not going to have enough time to go into all of that today. That's something for further conversations and even a series. There's libraries written on leadership principles and great leaders that are great examples to follow, and also some very bad and ineffective leaderships, and lots of outdated leadership principles as well. So there's an evolution that has occurred based on leadership styles, people, societies, and cultures as well. So today I'm just going to cover a few different points. I'll cover 3 different basic elements that impact leadership that's going to help you in life. So that's what you want to look at, is how is me being an effective leader going to help me in my life? That's what it's all about. If you want to lead, by definition, you're leading others. So you're going to lead others to a direction, to a goal, to a business, to your family and church. Lots of different facets where you'll be in a position of leadership, where you'll be in a position of guiding others to a particular goal or a particular outcome. So that's the key of what we're going to look at today in the leadership facet. So what I look at from the basic start for our conversational purposes, lead by example. Lots of people understand this, lots of people know this, but they don't live it. So you want to make sure you start out, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a CFO, whether you're a COO, or any of the other top levels, or you're just a middle level management, or a executive level, or supervisor field level. So wherever you're leading, the principles should be the same to get positive results. So first off, lead by example. So whatever you want people to do that are under your charge, and it could be 1 to 1,000 to worldwide people following you, depending on your position. So you want to lead by example. You want to show people what you expect from them by your behavior. And that means starting first from the job, starting first from the task, whatever your goal is. You want to show them that you're using your principles and you're using what it takes to meet their goals. So that's what you want to focus on, is how do I show them that I am working towards my goal, that this is a commonality, that we have a team effort going towards the goal. So people will follow you if they see where you're going. People will follow you if they know where you're going. People will follow you again if they agree with where you're going. So you have to be very clear on what your goal is. And you can do that by living your life accordingly. So if you live your life up to the standards of what you expect, then people will not be confused. And this goes back to the simple family unit. So whether you're a mother, a father, grandparent, brother, sister, cousin, doesn't matter where you fall in the family dynamics, you can still lead by example. And when you lead by example, you show people how you want to be treated. So as a leader, if you treat the people under you with respect, you treat them with courtesy, then they're going to turn around, and in most cases, so again, there's no 100% rule, but in most cases, they will treat you with the same respect you show them. You're setting the culture, you're setting the tone, that respect is required when you interact. And even if you disagree, so that's the big thing. How do you handle disagreements? How do you handle when there's issues? That, again, people will be watching very closely, especially in a family dynamics. If you have kids, kids are going to watch and mimic how you handle situations. Do you yell? Do you scream? Do you accuse? Do you insult? Do you get negative? That's going to set a negative tone. Or do you handle it calmly and positively? Do you handle with focusing and saying, okay, let's look at this and see how we can move forward to accomplish our goal? And then that's the lead by example. You're showing them how you deal with difficulties, how you deal with issues, and continue on to your goal. And it comes back to what I always talk about, be like water. So as the water, we flow past an obstacle smoothly, uninterrupted. It might delay us a little bit, but we're going to continue on our goal, continue to work to get towards our goal together. And so that's the main focus of a leader, is that he leads by example. He doesn't tell you to do one thing and then he does another. Again, it happens out there, but it sends mixed messages, and it's not going to give you the integrity that you're expecting when you formulate a team. You might have a lot of skill set, but if it lacks effective communication, if it lacks you demonstrating the culture that's going to be most productive, then people are not going to be very concise on what they want to do and how to invest in it. So lead by example in all issues of business. Your personal life isn't that important in business per se. It's your personal life, but it can spill over. So if you bring in personal problems to the workplace, if you bring people from outside that are personal coming to your workplace and causing a disturbance, then of course that's going to be impacting to your employees. So the key is to not let your personal impact negatively your employees or the people that you're under your charge that you lead. So the example is what you said in all facets of your life, how you can effectively balance work, life, personal, in getting towards the goal. And then they will mimic that. They will see exactly what their leader is doing, how their leader is getting them to their goal, how their leader is focusing his energies and balancing life, the health aspect, the personal aspect. And they'll say, okay, I see how this works. I see how this pans out to get me to the goal. So that's the focus. Another key quality that a leader has to have, and I think this becomes one of the most difficult, is to listen. You have to listen to those under your charge. And it doesn't matter what level they're at in the company or in the structure. You could have a small company, you could have a big company, you can have a lot of different varied people and different skill sets, but you have to learn to listen. Effectively listen, and listen to learn, not just listen to pass the time or appease them. You need to listen because you're going to get valuable feedback. People will tell you exactly what they're thinking. Some are direct and some are coded. Some you can tell by their body posture. Some you can tell how they're reluctant or how they're suspicious of management or the company, or they're unclear of the goal. Just simple interaction of those you're in charge of. So again, this works in the family structure. It works if it's in a church or a corporation. Communicate to people. Just ask them questions, and then they will give you feedback. And again, it's effective, comes back to the lead by example. How you communicate and how you listen will set the tone. Sometimes you go to meetings and everybody's been in these meetings where people are interrupting each other and no one's giving a person an opportunity to speak, and they're giving, everything that they feel is right, and they're not listening to anybody else, and it's really not productive. Again, unfortunately, we've all been there. But if you're controlling and you're leading the meeting, you're leading the company, you're leading the organization, you want to make sure that at a meeting, everybody gets heard. Everybody listens to everyone else. Then you can collectively formulate a plan. You can effectively take in everybody's input. And again, it's not that you're going to take everybody's input or you're going to listen and make all these changes. When I ran my martial arts school, I had anywhere from 10 to 12 instructors at a given time. And we would sit down on a regular basis and we would meet about different things in the school, trends, and maybe uniforms and changing uniforms or changing curricula or adding classes or taking away classes. So we would discuss the whole dynamics of running the martial arts school. And I told them from the start, I said, I will listen to all of you. I will take your input into consideration, and then I will make the ultimate decision. So again, that's not being pompous. It's not being overlauding, because it's the decision lies with somebody. So whether it's one person or a committee or a board or a board of directors, so it's going to lie with somebody to make the decision, and there's no confusion in that. So I communicate effectively that I will take your input, and then I will make the final decision on what's best for the martial arts school and program. So the same thing with your company, same thing with your family. Listen, take into consideration, evaluate what's being said, and then weigh it. If you're the sole decision maker, then make the decision based on the goal. So it comes back to the goal. Whatever your ultimate goal is, you're going to make that decision. If it's a business to make money, sell more product, expand your market overseas, reach a different demographics, whatever that goal is, then you will factor in the input and say, okay, this is how I'm going to reach more people. And the more input you have, then the more exposure you're going to have to more markets, more people. You're not going to have all the answers. So as a leader, people often think I'm perfect, I have all the answers. No. Get that out of your head as soon as possible. You're not going to be perfect as a leader. You're not going to have all the examples. You need to seek counsel. So you seek counsel internally, also seek counsel external to your industry. Get people that you can trust that are successful in another type business, and then they could see it from a different perspective. They can give you a fresh set of eyes. If you only talk to people in your industry, a lot of times you're going to kick around the same industry talk. You're going to have the same principles. You're going to have the same philosophies. You're going to have the same outlook, where someone from another industry is going to come in and look at it completely fresh, completely different, and maybe give you a perspective that you haven't thought about. So that's where the listening comes in. Take your employees, take those people under you, and listen to them. Maybe sometimes they just want to gripe. Maybe sometimes they just have to express a complaint or dissatisfaction, and you can't change it. Just listen. Just listen. That's the best thing you can do. You know, there's often times where you have no power. It might be a policy that's a government policy. It might be, you know, training that's required. It's based on your industry. It's a federal requirement. OSHA has lots of requirements. So people are grumbling, why do I have to go through this training every year? Why do I have to do this again? I've already been through it. I'm wasting my time. I could be doing productive things. I could be working on my projects. So again, legitimate complaint from their perspective, but you have to explain that you have no control. This is training that is required by the government, it's required by the state certification board. Lots of jobs have certifications that you have to renew. Especially if you've been in the business 20, 30 years, you've been through it numerous times. If it's every year, every 2 years, you've been through the training and you're doing it. You're living the training in your job, in your profession. But you continue to go. And again, you listen. Maybe there is new information. Maybe something you didn't hear the past 10 times. Maybe it's applying differently to where you are now. So leaders are going to continue to learn. They're going to continue to grow. So that's part of the listening concept. If you don't listen, you're never going to learn. If you continue to talk, and especially if you're an expert, and you just continue to give out expert advice and you continue to talk about what you know, and you fail to listen, you're never going to expand your horizons. You're never going to learn new things. You're just going to continue to drag all of the stuff you learned over 20 years, 30 years, or 10 years. You can be an expert in 10 years in your particular field, especially putting in a lot of hours. But if you don't listen, you're going to be stagnant. You're going to get stuck. And even if things don't change, you still need a fresh perspective. Maybe you're doing things. Look at working out. Look at fitness. You have a fitness program, and you've been doing it since you're 15. And now you're 25, 10 years. You have to change your program. Your body's different. Your response is different. Your recovery time is different. Everything has changed. So you have to be able to change your workout to get the maximum results. So it's the same thing in a business. Just because you've done it for 10 years doesn't mean it's successful. When I work with a security company and I take over a company or I'm brought in to advise and they say, oh, we've been doing this for 10 years. We're safe. We have no issues. And my first response is, that's the perfect time for a change. Because what's worked for the past 10 years is not necessarily going to take you through the next 10 years. So you evaluate the program. And it doesn't mean you throw out everything. You're going to bring some core issues. So as a leader, you're making these core decisions. And again, you're listening to people who've maybe been there in the early days. And they tell you why certain policies were initiated, what certain things they did. And maybe they're not relevant anymore. Maybe times have changed. Maybe the traffic patterns have changed. Maybe your local ordinance have changed. So there's a lot of things. Maybe the dynamics of the building or the people you're providing security to have changed. So that's what the listening does. It gives you the opportunity to evaluate what you've been doing, keep what you need to keep, tweak or change what you need to change, and move forward. But you're not going to get this information if you don't open yourself up to listen to those around you and talk to, the neighboring community. In any business that I do, I talk to other people, other businesses. I do a cooperative effort to sit down and talk to other business owners. Maybe they own the business. Maybe they're an accountant. Maybe they have a CPA firm. And I talk to them about their security needs or their concerns in the neighborhood. And then we can collectively evaluate what's going to impact our business, or talk to people about how to effectively communicate with their employees. And that goes across the board. Doesn't matter what business you're in essence. Communication skills, and the key to this we're talking about is listening, is going to transcend any industry. So you can talk to your peers, talk to people that are in different industries, and you can still come to a commonality of, okay, it's best practice to listen to those that we're in charge of. And you'll never go wrong with listening. And again, it makes people feel valued. It makes people feel appreciated. It makes people feel that they're buying into the plan. So if you just have a plan and say, jump in the boat and I'm going to paddle all the way down the creek and get us where we're going, people will enjoy the ride. But they have no investment, they have no buy-in. They don't feel like they're of value to the overall product and the overall success of what you're doing. So that's how little things can be manifested throughout the relationship, because it's all about relationships. People will come to a job based on a need, based on the salary, based on the skill set. But as you know, people read the stats. People don't leave a job primarily because of the salary. Everybody always goes about salary, salary, salary. People don't always take a job for salary. People don't often leave a job for salary. There are a lot of other things. They leave because they feel that they're not valued. They feel like they're not appreciated. They feel like they're not giving the proper training and tools to do their job. And the way you avoid that is listen. Someone will come to you and say, hey, I've been put in this new position as a supervisor and I haven't been getting any tools. I spent 10 years as a forklift driver. I know my job well, but they haven't really given me any training or any skills to do a job well as a supervisor. Unfortunately, that's very common because people think, well, you've done 10 years, you're good at it, you know it. But that doesn't mean they know how to supervise, they know how to manage, they know how to lead. They have to be given the tools. And if you listen to them, they'll tell you that. They're not going to be confused and think, wow, I can go from my job to running the section and do things that I haven't done before. Maybe it's payroll, maybe it's scheduling, maybe it's discipline, maybe it's hiring. That is what you look at, and you're going to have to listen. And when they say, I don't have the tools to do that. And you can't just be like, well, you'll learn on the fly, just grin and bear it. That's not an effective way to lead. And it's not an effective way to run your business. It's going to have detrimental effects because now you take a great worker who you just promoted based on their being a great worker. They're going to lose their motivation. They're going to be confused. They're going to be upset. They're going to feel inadequate. And guess what? The people under them are going to feel that and sense that as well. So it comes back to lead by example. If they're leading by the example that they feel like they're not equipped to do their job, they don't have a clear goal, they're confused, they don't really know how to get this done, then that's going to trickle down to the people that they're in charge of, especially when they're new. People are going to watch. When you promote someone new, whether it's inside or outside, all eyes are on them. There's an expectation. So people are watching them, and that comes back again to lead by example. How do they handle their newfound responsibility? How do they handle this new position? And then you as the company owner, all the bosses, how do you handle your new supervisor? Do you support them? Do you listen to them? Are you leading by example of showing them how to lead effectively and giving them the tools they need? So that's the bigger picture of leadership. Again, a million principles out there, but if you lead by example, you will set the tone of what's expected in any structure that you're leading people, or 1 or 1,000 or 1,000,000. Listen. So 2 key ingredients to listen. And then third comes down to a very important ingredient in our own lives is motivate. You have to motivate people. Some leaders from the old school that is luckily dying, oh, they have a job. They should bring their own motivation. Oh, I pay them to be motivated. That's part of their job description, to come in here and be motivated. Yeah, a certain level of truth to that people should bring their own enthusiasm to the job. But you as the leader have to continue to motivate them. You have to continue to inspire them to do the job that you hired them to do. And that becomes difficult. There's the day-to-day grind. You don't reach goals. You don't see the vision. You lose track of the vision. The vision changes. There's confusion. There's turnover. New supervisors, new managers, new coworkers. So how, as a manager, a leader, do you motivate? Again, you have to lead by example, that you come to work ready to go. You have your stuff in order. Your appearance is looking good. You're disciplined. You're focused. You're confident. That's how you lead by example, and that's how you continue to motivate people. If you see the owner, you see the leader come in, he's like, let's go, let's get this done. Today we have a goal to produce 50 new products. We have a goal to get out there and sell this. We have a goal to accomplish this. People feel the sense of motivation. They feel, okay, now we know exactly what we're going to do. It's similar to the sports teams. Again, you don't necessarily have to go over the top, but some companies do. They do the sports team, the banging and the jumping up and down and the hands in the middle. Why do you think teams do that? They do it to motivate the football team. They do it to motivate the sports team. They do it to get everybody motivated. So you can do things like that at your workplace when you lead people, whatever your style. And again, come to your style. If you're the hoorah kind of guy, jump around and do little sayings and slogans and mantras, absolutely. Motivate your staff and do it in a way that motivates them. And how do you know what motivates them? You listen. If you go in there and you try to do the jump around thing, you know, throw your hands in the air and all of that, and people tell you, nah, it doesn't work for us. Listen. Listen, they'll tell you, either with their words or with their body posture. You can see when you're talking to people and say, okay, let's all get up and jump around and shake our hands out. And they're showing you their body posture. It's the culture. It's the mindset. It's just not motivating them. Some people are motivated by attention. You call them up to the front of the room. I'd like to commend Joey for doing an awesome job. His numbers have been great for the past month. He's worked safely. His attendance is awesome. He's increased production. Whatever the accolade is, some people love that. You can see their posture. You can see that they're loving this recognition. Other people, not so much. That's like their worst nightmare, to be in front of people. That's their worst nightmare. So that's not going to motivate them. So back to listening. Listen to what is going to motivate your crew, your staff, your family, and then implement it. It might have to be individual. You might have some people who want to get up in front of the room, in front of an assembly, in front of a company meeting and be recognized, put out there for everyone to see. Other people know. So you recognize them more quietly. Maybe they want it in their section with their boss and 2 other people. Maybe they want it alone. You just call them to your office with their manager, the direct reports, and bring them in and say, we wanted to recognize you. And sometimes it might be balloons. People like balloons. Crazy. People always love balloons. So it might be balloons. It might be a check. It might be a gift card. You have to formulate what's going to work, and you have to listen as a leader. And again, the goal is to motivate. So whatever you do, you want to make sure it motivates them, not just a waste of your time and their time. I see that often, like some companies and organizations have this employee of the month, and literally it just becomes a rotation. You know, if a company has 12 people, guess what? Every month somebody's going to be an employee of the month. If they have 24 people, every cycle of a year, you're going to be employee of the month. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that concept if you have a small company, but you have to look at, is it really motivating people, or are they just thinking that, oh, my number's up, so therefore I get employee of the month? So you want to listen and make sure that that's not losing its motivational impact. So that's what people will often do. As a leader, you just go through the motions. You use the book. Oh, give these people this or do that. It can be simple as a gift card. You give someone a gift card to a restaurant. They're like, I don't go to that restaurant. So again, should you be overly concerned with that? Yes. Listen, if you know someone's a vegetarian and then you give them like the gift card to Meat Paradise, not a wise choice. That's not going to motivate them. Yes, they can give the card away and swap it for cash, but that's not the motivating factor for them to go and hawk a gift card. So give them either a gift card that you know something that they enjoy. If they like flowers and gardening, then you can give them a gift card to a store that, like Lowe's, that provides gardening supplies. Or you can give them, which I often do, is I give them a generic gift card. I give them a gift card that can be used at any store, that they don't have to wrestle and fight. They can use it online. It gives them more versatility. They can go to the movies with it. So that I find is more motivating, because they get the card and right away they're thinking, wow, I can use this on the way home from work to do whatever. And that's the motivation you want. That's my goal. So my goal is to motivate. And my goal is to make them feel appreciated for the efforts. It can be a continuous effort. It could be continuing to do your job effectively. It could be something that you did out of the norm. I want to recognize how you handled this situation. The machine went down and you stepped up and you reevaluated and you reassigned the personnel and you got us back online in a very short period of time with minimal downtime. That's a clear-cut communication of motivation, because they understand how they did, what they did, and how they helped the company to reach its goal. So that's the overall picture with this concept is you want to lead by example, going towards your goal, showing everybody this is the expectations. This is how you conduct yourself. This is our culture. This is how we believe. This is how we speak. This is how we act. This is the respect. This is the decorum. These are the certain things we do, and I do it by example, not just putting it in a poster. Oh, we treat everyone fairly in a poster with a nice, cool picture, and then I don't treat everyone fairly. So that's even worse when you have a contradiction. You're like, well, the poster says, but the poster is not accurate. So now you got even worse because people are saying there's a conflict. You're sending mixed messages. So that's the essence of leading by example. Show them exactly what you expect. Show them exactly what you want by doing. People respond better that way, whether it's the family structure all the way up to a high-level corporation. Your children will follow your example. We all know that. And we follow people's examples. We follow and we listen, but we're going to follow their actions. We're going to follow the way they present themselves. We're going to follow what they show us is important in the company culture. And then listen. Listening skill is not only an effective skill as a leader, it's an effective skill in all aspects of your life. So you want to be able to bring that effective skill of listening to your role as a leader and hear people. People want to be heard. Lots of times people act out in all structures is because they feel they're not being heard. They feel frustrated. They don't listen to me. They don't hear me. They're not recognizing my concerns. And you're not always going to satisfy everybody's concerns, but you want to listen. You want to give them the opportunity to express themselves and then explain to them what kind of changes you can make, what they can expect, or how, again, that you cannot make any changes. That based on policy, based on structure, based on limited lockers. So when I want to locker a new locker, a closer locker, based on your company structure, you don't have any more lockers. You don't have any other allocations to help them. But if you explain it and you listen, people love to be heard. There's no doubt. People strike out. People definitely get up in arms, and they're not going to help you reach your goal if they don't feel like you're listening to them. And then again, in closing with that, you have to motivate. Leaders motivate. You got to motivate people to your goal. You can have a team with 10 great people, but if you don't motivate them, they're going to lose interest. And then they're going to go to another company. They're going to find another goal. They're going to find another leader to follow. So you want to be able to motivate them. You want to be able to set the example. You want to be able to listen to them, and you want to be able to help motivate them in the way they're motivated and get to your goals collectively. And then everybody can rejoice in that goal because they know the goal. They've bought into the goals. They feel part of the team. That's what's going to help you be an effective leader. So focus on those basic keys just to get started. Lead by example. Listen. Motivate. CEO Dojo. Webinar on leadership. Hopefully these key little things will help you on your way. And if you need anything from me, call me. We'll work through it. I can help you focus more on your individual leadership style. I can help you focus on how to take your company to the next level. I could focus on how to get your employees to be more productive based on these principles of leadership. So contact me and we'll get you started. You could reach me at Richard E. Gordon on Facebook. Contact me. We will get you started because I know when you increase your leadership and you increase it effectively, you'll definitely increase all the outputs in your life, your satisfaction, your financial, your company goals, all of that will be achieved. Reach out to me today. We'll get you started. Thanks for attending. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be you for you.